Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about the whole Batman shooter thing, and what I think happened, from what I've gathered and what I've looked at. And I don't think this guy with orange hair killed anybody. I think he's a drugged up Patsy who they drugged up, they had sitting on the side, and we're going to blame it on him the whole time while two other guys carried out the act. Now, some people think this whole thing was an act and didn't really happen. I'm not sure about that. What I think is two people carried it out. They're blaming it on this guy, and they have actors as witnesses. They're not using actual witnesses that were there. They accidentally used one or two, I think, and I have one of them I'm going to show you. But I think for the most part they're using just the actor witnesses that weren't even really there. And I'm going to show you why when I show you one guy, and you can go through and look up all the other ones, and you'll start finding inconsistencies, body language, looking to the right, which is the creative side of your brain, and it's on the right brain. You know, you've heard of people being right-brained, because the right side is your creative side, and when you're looking for a lie, you look to the right to be creative. So, this guy was drugged up, and the fact that they do drug people up and use them as Manchurian type candidates or whatever, I don't think this guy did the actual shooting, though. He was on welfare. He didn't have the money for all that equipment, and there's just too many things. I think they just drugged him up, and they're using him as a patsy, just someone they had on welfare. He was into neuroscience, which has to do with the mind. All these people in the end have some kind of psychological thing going on, like the guy who shot up the office in Orlando. He was in the army. What was he? He was a psychiatrist or something. He had something to do with the mind. This guy was in college for neuroscience and was said to be very smart. And what I want to show you here is the fact that they do this. Accused and convicted RFK assassin Sirhan said he was drugged before the assassination. Now, this guy has been found not guilty after all these years too, I believe. Alright, this is Sirhan and a reporter Reynolds in a dialogue. Sirhan, it was hot that night. I was very thirsty. I remember that. I went to the bar and had 4 drinks within about 15 minutes. I couldn't seem to get enough to drink. They were Tom Collins, but I wasn't drunk. I felt drugged. I think somebody slipped something into my drinks. My legs and arms became rubbery. I remember standing by my car, but I couldn't drive, so I went back inside and got some coffee. Then a reporter asked, "How did you get downstairs to the pantry?" "Somebody guided me. I don't know who." "Did you have your gun with you?" "Yes. When I was in the pantry, the gun was in my hand." "Did you know Robert Kennedy was going to be walking towards you?" He says, "No, I didn't know where I was, and I don't know how I got there. I was in a state of blackout." Okay, then it says recently produced evidence reveals that Sirhan was not the shooter and he was framed. In a federal court last November, lawyers argued that Sirhan was an involuntary participant in the crimes being committed because he was subjected to sophisticated hypnoprogramming and memory implantation techniques which rendered him unable to consciously control his thoughts and actions at the time of the crimes were being committed, and so on and so forth. And this does take place, people. I mean, you can go research CIA mind control, and they do plenty of experiments on this stuff, and they did plenty of them in Nazi Germany, and this does take place. Now, what I want you to look at here is to see this guy in court, if you haven't seen this yet, and see that he is indeed drugged, and there's something wrong, totally wrong here. Watch the video. As you can see, he's incoherent. He's out there. Okay, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to leave the link in the description here. But as you can see, he's definitely drugged up. I mean, you can just see it. All right. So I'll leave this link in the description area. This is one of the things that they use. Is called scopolamine, and it's one of the drugs they use to do this mind control. And there's other ones as well, but this is just one of them to show you. Okay, now let's go to the scene. And what I want to show you here is that this is also a ritual. See, the elite and the wealthy people of this world, they do rituals. They do rituals while you guys are having backyard barbecues and 4th of July parties. These guys are doing rituals in the brotherhoods and secret societies in Bohemian Grove and other places. And the purpose of a ritual is to use the energies to create what you want to come into fruition. And what they use a lot is Saturn. Okay, so right here you have the seal of Saturn. 2 X's connecting is the seal of Saturn's sigil. Okay, see it right here, 2 X's connecting, usually with a line through it, not always, but you'll see this everywhere in news stories. Everywhere you'll see this if you start looking for it. The sigil of Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of law. Its color is black. It's law, order, and other things like that. And then you see the purple is a color that they use a lot. It's I believe purple is the color of the moon, and then you know, it's just the whole thing was a ritual. It was done on 7/20/2012. That's right, we're Cancer. We're moving from, the sun's moving from Cancer into Leo, the lion. So that's significant there. Anywhere from 7/20 to 7/22, you know, the energies are there, are present. And these people use numerology as well. So this was a big ritual killing. It was a blood sacrifice, is what they call it. Okay. You can look further into that, and I'll put the link in the description area so you can see some of them pictures. But this is how the elite and the occult, or the hidden, occult just means hidden, so the occult societies of this world, this is how they operate. You think these people aren't capable of this? They're capable of this and more. They're capable of sacrificing humans on altars. I know you don't want to believe that because some of you have been so conditioned. We were born into this conditioning, but there's a lot going on here that you don't know. In this video, I want to show you how one witness, I don't believe is an actor, slipped through the cracks and says that there was another person involved, that there wasn't just one person. You got to realize how hard in that short a period of time it'd be, how hard it would be with all the chaos and gas to hit 12 people and wound 50. You know, that's a high accuracy, very high accuracy. So here's this guy. Listen to him.
We don't know. We have ideas. From what we saw, he wasn't alone. He had someone with him because the second can of tear gas didn't come from his side. He was completely dressed in black, head to toe. From what we saw, it seemed like he had something over his face, probably to prevent him from breathing it in. And we can only assume that someone got him in because he was whatever he was wearing seemed thick. So I don't think he would really. I think he'd stand out in the crowd.
See, that guy sounded authentic to me. He sounded like an actual witness. When you see this other guy I'm going to show you, he's very, something just ain't right. Okay, I'll point it out when I show you. I just want to show you some other things I'm going to put here, that this does take place. And WikiLeaks just put out something, the U.S. Special Forces counterinsurgency counterinsurgency manual analysis, which talks about doing this very thing. Setting up false flags and stuff like that. And I believe it talks about theater specifically. I'm not sure. There's a lot to this, and it took me a while to put all this together. And I read through this, but I'll put the link at the bottom so you can go check it out for yourself. Another really cool website here that I found, which does a really good job going into the ritualistic aspects of it, of the whole deal. If it'll come up here.